Yes. So good evening once again. So let me tell us why this conversation is important. Um, they say anything that can go wrong will go wrong. And it happened it happened to me today. It happened to me today. I planned to close early so that I can come home, be with the kids, be with the family before this event. And everything everything went wrong. I was supposed to leave my first place at 2 p.m. I ended up leaving at 3:15. I was supposed to leave the second place at 4 p.m. I ended up leaving at 5:30. Then there was traffic almost everywhere, which was unusual by this particular time I'm supposed to leave. So I was supposed to get home at about 5:30 or to 6 so I can settle down, eat, look at the kids, what's going on, how was school, and all that, all that. Guess what? I got in at past 6. I just, because I have barely eaten today, so I wolfed down something to eat and I started setting up almost immediately. I had to tell the kids, I'm sorry. This younger one I'm supposed to look at his book. I told the older ones, please look at them. My middle child came with a math problem. I looked at it was just funny. I said, think about it, go try it. Before I didn't even properly apologize that I needed to have the meeting and please, you need to be quiet and all of that because my husband is having another meeting in the bedroom. So, and as I sat down trying to get, and then yes, everything went on with my laptop. I'm not joining on my laptop. I don't know why I can't do that. Now, as I sat down trying to prepare, all the guilt came down. All the guilt, all of the guilt, because I'm supposed to have a little time for my children. Maybe if I wasn't going to have this meeting by this time, I would have had more time, okay, eating and then okay, what is the matter and all that before my next meeting at past around 8:30. And I'm now thinking I have to cancel the one at 8:30 so that I can be there for my children. This is why this conversation is really, really important. This is why this conversation has to be had. Because come on, all of us, each one of us here, we are educators, teachers, one way or the other. We have Most of us have gone to school or been on had online, poured out, poured out, poured out. And now our children need us and you are drained. How do you deal with the guilt? How do you how do you manage? Then you lay down in the at night trying to get some sleep, and then your mind is playing back the entire day. Then you're like, oh my, I didn't kiss my baby properly. I didn't answer properly. And as you're thinking of your children, you're thinking of the children in the classroom and thinking, and then you get, oh God, I'm supposed to be thinking about, I was thinking about my child, I was thinking about the homework, and your mind, and it's a talk, it's a word, I don't even think this one conversation will will truly cover it or sort it out. I thought I had the hang of it, but honestly, I don't. And the guilt is still there. So I'm going to hand us over now to Miss Ibironke. Now, for those that do not know, Miss Ibironke is my personal parenting coach. She is the parenting coach. I have met a few, I have spoken to a few, but Miss Ibironke is different because why is she different? I think she understands me. I'm not saying it because she's here. I refuse to ask for a bio because I didn't want to use a bio. I want to speak from my heart, from what I know of her. She is an educator, so she understands me. She understands my world, being a parent, being an educator. So when I'm complaining about some certain things, she has been there. She gets it. So when I'm saying, no, it's not working, she knows. So she can tell me, try this instead. Sometimes even on LinkedIn, when she makes some posts, I will kindly say, this is what I'm doing. Just checking if I'm doing the right thing. There's either she's saying thumbs up or, oh, you could have done. I said, okay, maybe I should try this. I should try this other one. So this is Mrs. Ibironke. If you were not on her parental lounge, you are wrong. I'm going to drop the link before the end of the session to be in her parental lounge, because this is
Thank
one
you.
place. Honestly, I do not miss her newsletters. I don't miss anything because she touches the educator. So I'm going to hand us over. Before she became a teacher, she was in the corporate world. So it's not as if she has been a teacher from day one. She was in the corporate world. She ran away
Yes.
and came
Yes.
to teaching. So I think that's why it's easy for her to be able to do this, because she has been in the corporate world, the 9 to 5 job, and now she's in the job that is the 24-hour job, because it's not 9 to 5. It's 24 hours. So she understands, she gets us. Whatever question you have, please jot down and
Hmm.
ask her. Thank you very much. Over to you, Miss Ibiroke. Mrs. S,
Thank
my
you
Mrs.
very
S.
much. Thank you so much, Coach Rahina. Good evening, everyone. And I am so happy to be here. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. And this is a learning space for us. It's for every one of us to learn, to share ideas, and to see how we can help ourselves. Like Ms. Rahina said, let me first of all salute all the teachers here who started out their careers as teachers. You guys and ladies are the real MVPs. I'm not, please can we mute our microphones? Ms. Tumininu Bami Tekok, please can you mute your microphone? Thank you. I don't know how you all have been holding it as teachers for decades. It is a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I always say it with my full chest that I dodged the teaching profession for 2.5 decades. I knew that that was what I should be doing, but I just simply refuse to that. These people who talk from morning till night and they get paid so little. No, me, I'm going to that place where I can wear high heels and wear long weave on and make a lot of money. But you know, when something is a passion, my father told me maybe as soon as I finished from university, I have a first degree in education, I have a second degree in human resources management, that you should be teaching, that it comes so naturally to you. And I'll look at him like, really, you and daddy, me, I'm not teaching, no. I'm going to the corporate sector. So when I see people who find their passion very early in life, I'm always so happy for them. And that's what everyone here has done, regardless of what we're led to believe about teaching. It ranks as one of the most important professions all over the world, all over the world. So we should really give ourselves a pat on the back for daring to go into that profession. Now, when Miss Rahina told me about this topic, it was funny to me because I have a lot of younger sisters in this group and other groups who are teachers. And this is the same thing they come to me with. I don't know how I'm even functioning at home. By the time I get home, I just want to pack everything up and not have to talk to a child, not have to give any instructions, not have to do anything again, because that's what I've been doing all day. And that is the burden on every caregiving profession. We fall under the caregiving profession: doctors, nurses, child caregivers, therapists. You carry the burden of your work around. You can't close. When I was in the corporate world, once I close, even if I close as late as 10 p.m., once I close, I cut off. That's it. And I'm free to do any other thing with my time. I don't carry the burden of my work. I'm not the business owner, so I don't carry the burden of my work with me. So it's easy. I call that type of paid employment a paid holiday because as long as you do your work within the hours that you're given, you're fine. But as a teacher, especially now, you carry the weight of that child that hasn't been able to form their sounds. You carry the weight of the child who hasn't been able to read their letters. For the older ones, you carry the weight of the child who is struggling with math, and that child is almost at WAEC class. You carry all of that burden in your head, apart from what you have done all day. So it's a burden that we're never told will come with the profession. Now, when I was going to introduce this topic on my LinkedIn post, I gave the scenario of a mom who is a teacher, got home, parked her car, and instead of just opening the car to go into the house to continue her day, she was there sitting in the car wondering, can I just sleep in here? Wouldn't it be easier, to just sleep, to just take my break in here? Will it be easier if the children are already asleep before I get inside? Playing different scenarios where she would have to interact less with her own family, which was what would have been the ideal situation, but it's not what we're supposed to do. I painted that scenario and I could see that a lot of us can relate to it. You can relate to it. I can relate to it. Coach Rahina can relate to it. We can all relate to coming home totally spent. We've given everything that we can, and there's really no more to give. Yet, the family is where we build our legacies, not in the schools that we work, not in only those children that we teach. We carry our legacies in the home. Just like you're in the corporate sector, if you're winning in the boardrooms, breaking the glass ceilings in your careers, but the home front is not on a solid footing, then we will be wrong. So as we're helping the children in our care as teachers to become better, to become those people we can be proud of, we must bring the same energy home at whatever cost. To do it at home, we must bring the same energy home. Now, will this be easy? No, there are some things we need to learn in order to do for ourselves. Unfortunately, as a teacher, you don't get to clock out mentally once you clock out physically. You're still thinking, you're still working. Tomorrow's lesson plan. Is it going to be easy for every child, regardless of their learning ability, to understand it? You're seeing, am I the only one who sees the faces of some children in my head at home? Members of my family are tired of me just randomly mentioning a child's name. I'm thinking, I just wish this child would try more, and do more reading. And I'm speaking to myself, and they're all making fun of me, you understand? Because that's the burden of care that you carry as a teacher. My children are practically the names of all the children I do literacy support for online. Because at one time or the other, I'm mentioning their names, hoping they're doing something, they have a test, I'm hoping that they remembered the tips I gave them. You are there thinking all of that. But meanwhile, home is not stopping. Home has to be done effectively. And doing both with the same energy is the recipe for burnout. Doing both without a break in between, without transitioning from one role, take a breather, go into the next role, is a recipe for burnout. And the funny thing, we won't show that burnout in our places of work. We will show the burnout at home. Because the place of work, because it has an economic implication, an immediate economic implication for us, we will be strong for the place of work. And then at home, we give ourselves the liberty to break down. But while home does not have an economic implication. It has far severe implications than the economic ones. And that's why we have to learn to balance a transition. I had one of my younger sisters in the group. I don't know whether she's here. One day she called me and was talking about building visibility on LinkedIn and all of that. And she asked me, how do you do it? That you seem to have gotten a hang of it. I said, no, I haven't gotten a hang of it. I have more time on my hands than you have at this point in time. That is the truth. You cannot do everything at the same time. You want to be a content creator. You want to be a teacher. You want to be on LinkedIn. You want to do extra classes and you want to run the home. You're not a foreman. You're just one person. Every phase of life has a season. It's a season. The reason why we burn out easily is that we don't honor the season of life that we're in. And health is wealth. Once that health starts giving way, it's trouble. We don't honor enough the season of life that we're in. I'll give a small example. When I was in paid employment, I was well known for not attending parties over the weekends. And I'll tell you why. I go to work early in the morning, come back late at night. The only time I really have one-on-one and everything with my children was over the weekend. And then you tell me to come for a wedding ceremony at 10. No, those people will get married with or without me anyway. They will run their homes. When they say take their shwebi, they know me in all the organizations I worked with. I'm always the first to pay, but I never show up. Because at that phase of my life, I had to be honest with what was important to me. Now, if you call me to a party 8 a.m. on Monday, I will reschedule my online class and come to the party. It's the phase of life that I'm in that has now permitted that. So I told that person, I said, she said, because now I have that time. The home is empty nest now. So I have that time. So I told that person, it's okay for me to wake up at 4 a.m. to go and post on LinkedIn after praying. You have to get your children ready for school. You have to do certain things at home. You have to leave home at a certain time. That's why our schedules don't look alike. So while you're looking at me being able to do it, I'm able to do it at this time. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to do that. So we must find a way to balance the phase of life. Oh, yes, she's here. She said she can't forget that conversation. Yes. We must find a way to balance the life we have now in order to be present at home as much as we're giving out there in the schools and with the children we work with. Home cannot wait. Your children cannot wait for them to be connected to you. Your children cannot wait before you build memories with them. Your children cannot wait for you to speak with them. And you know the funny thing, they grow up so fast. You'll be wondering, where did all the time go? And the memories, I sit with my children now, and guess what memories they share? They don't share memories of when their father and I saved tooth and nail to take them on holidays outside the country. No, those are not the memories they share with us. I was still with them last month. The memories they share with us are the times when we will go to Ebano near my house to buy puff-puff in a pot load and all sit on the bed and we're eating it, not minding that the bed sheet will be stained with oil. And then we're gisting. They remember how we all sit down to listen to one radio program, Lagos Digest, Jimmy Disu. You know, those are the things they remember. And these things are things we did with sacrifice of time. Not sacrifice of money, sacrifice of time. So that's why I said it is not possible for us to be in every space at the same time. I don't know what are the things that are coming up on my screen right now, but I hope I'm still audible. Okay, yes, it's gone. The sacrifice of time is what we need to connect with our children, regardless of how busy or how demanding taking care of other children are. Burnout will not always look like you're collapsing. It would look like being easily irritated when your child talks to you. It would look like wanting to shut yourself off in a room when you get back from work. When we think burnout, we always think, oh, that I'm falling down and I can't do any work. No, it will reflect in the conversations you have with your spouses. You get snappy. You just want to get on with the day, tick all the boxes and go to bed. And those things do not build a connected home for us. That's why we must pay attention to it. Now, before I stop talking, there are 5 tips that I wrote down that have worked for me. Yes, we feel very irritated. You just want you're coming home thinking, I hope everybody has just sorted themselves out so that nobody can ask me or even discuss anything with me. Let me just get on with myself. Meanwhile, you are a part of the home and you just want to get on with yourself. It won't happen. So there are 5 things so that we can leave time for questions and discussions. There are 5 things I want to share that I've written down. You need to learn how to separate your roles with intention. Even if it is that tip of sitting in the car or sitting somewhere for 10 minutes before you transit to home mode. You have to do that invisible wall to transition from one door, like you have a mental door. Okay, I've finished in this room and I'm resting, and then I have a mental door. I'm walking into another room that takes me to another space. It has to start, if it's a mental thing, you have to be able to have a cutoff from working with other children to getting home and being present with your own family. You must protect your presence at home. When you are home, you are home. Especially for a lot of us who do maybe online tutoring after work or over the weekends. We have to look for ways to structure those classes such that there is a time for home. There has to be time for home. If you get home at 5 p.m. and you know that the time for home is until the children sleep at 8 p.m., be present between that 5 and 8 p.m. And you know that once they have gone to bed at 8 p.m., I can now have another 2 hours to do my own things before going off to bed, or more for people who don't sleep early. But those times that you're at home, please be present. No undivided attention. We have to be present, which is one of the reasons why I say you cannot do everything at the same time. Something will suffer. So if we want something to suffer, we have to be sure that the price that we're paying is worth the results that we're getting. The third thing is to stop performing parenting. A lot of teachers do this. You feel because you're a parent, you're a teacher, you have to be perfect as a parent. You feel your children must be perfect. Their homework must be perfect. Their behavior must be perfect. That's performing. Performing is very tiring. Give yourself permission. You are human. That you're a teacher doesn't mean that things are going to run perfectly. You are human too. It is okay for my child to fail the test. That I'm a teacher in that school does not mean I have it all planned out or I have it all worked out. That I'm a teacher in school and I put children through things does not mean that no one shall get it wrong in my home or that I can get it wrong. That's a lot of pressure that you put yourselves under to be the perfect teacher, to perform as the perfect teacher. Number 4 thing, ask for help without apologizing. I'm the queen of asking for help. There's nothing I can't ask for help for. I'm sure a number of people in the Lift group will know. Once I try something, I struggle. Miss Fala, please call me when you have time. I don't understand this thing again. Ask for help in the home. Ask for help with your children. If you have a strong support system, lean on them. Over the holidays, sometimes 3 days, 4 days away at grandma's house won't kill you. It lets you breathe. Let the children go. You too need to breathe. You need to put things in order. So wherever you have help or the ability to get help, please get help. There's nothing wrong in having someone to come in to clean the house once in a while, if you can afford it. It allows you to breathe. I don't understand the generation of people who say, when you have someone to come and help you, you are lazy. No. It means you are able to do more when you get help. And the last thing is, rest is not a reward. I learned this from a medical doctor. He said, what we do is that we work hard. Instead of sleeping for the 8 hours that were recommended, we sleep 3 hours during the week. And then on Saturday, I'll say I'll sleep for 10 hours. No, the damage that the 3 hours has done to the body has already been done. Your 10 hours on Saturday is not taking care of anything anymore. The damage has already been done. It's motivational speakers who sold us that lie, that if you want to be successful, you shouldn't be sleeping 8 hours. Successful people don't sleep. I don't know where they got that thing from. Now we've seen all kinds of pressure-induced illnesses that we're having to live with because of the hustle culture we found ourselves in. Please, rest is not a reward. It is part of productivity, because if you do not rest and your energy falls short, you cannot perform at your optimal best. So it is part of productivity. Schedule rest the same way you schedule work. When people say, oh, LinkedIn, you are so... Yesterday night, I looked at myself and I thought, because of the time difference of where I am now, being on LinkedIn at 5 a.m. means I'm awake until about 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. where I am. Yesterday, I was tired. I'd gone out to do enjoyment with some people. I said, please, I'm tired. I've done classes today. I've done enjoyment. LinkedIn is not going to pay me money. I went on LinkedIn, rescheduled the post. I went to sleep. Nothing is going to happen. Is it going to stop the next parent who wants to book literacy class with me and say, because I didn't show up on LinkedIn? No. It's not going to happen. Look, all of these things we're doing on LinkedIn, WhatsApp status is easy. Let me let you in on that trick today. For those who are advertising, WhatsApp status doesn't demand that you come and engage with people for 1 hour before you publish your post. WhatsApp, the day you can't put anything, the day you can't go to LinkedIn, put that thing on WhatsApp status and go to people will read it. We have to find a way to make things work for ourselves. But the day you are too tired or you say, LinkedIn Wahala is too much today, package it, put it on WhatsApp status, go to sleep. People will see it within, for the 24 hours, it's going to be up. So these are some of the things we need to do for ourselves. It is us. Nobody is going to come to save us. Nobody is going to come to lighten our load. We are the ones who are going to lighten the load ourselves by putting measures in place. So before we go today, I want to remind you, the same compassion that you extend to those struggling learners in your class, to those struggling students, extend the same compassion to yourself, because you are human. Sometimes we'll get it right at home. Sometimes we won't get it right. It doesn't make us bad parents. It just means we're human. And as long as we're willing to learn, to do better, you shout at your children once in a while, it doesn't make you a bad parent. It's just human. You smack a child once in a while, it doesn't mean that you are violent. It just means that you're human. As long as we're prepared to keep learning and getting better, nothing is going to happen. Now, what is going on here? Okay, yes. So That's it.
Okay.
That's what I'm ending with today. You are not failing. You are not falling. You are only carrying too much alone. Ask for help, shed some of the weight, and focus only on the things that are important per time. Thank you very much for having me. I hope we've been able to take away one or two things from my rambling.
One or two,
Thank
so
you.
much, so much. So
Thank
you,
you.
this last line you have to say it again towards the end, because I need to type it,
Okay.
because I've been writing since you were talking.
Oh,
So
okay. Okay.
what were some of the comments in the comment section? That was me. I said she attends every party now. Because there was one day I saw I think I saw her somewhere on Friday, and then on Saturday she was somewhere else. On Sunday she was somewhere else. I said, right. Now my husband knows Mrs. S already. So one time I told her she's here. Next time I said, oh, she's here. She said, ah. He said, but she just left here, wasn't it? I think no, that was when she came to Abuja. She came to Abuja. We met over the weekend, and then she went back. And then the next weekend, she was somewhere else. She had traveled. And he said, this woman. I said, you won't understand, Mrs. S. So, and that's the secret Miss S is saying. She has enough time, not like myself. So I better stop being jealous of her, because I'm always jealous of her. So Miss Omoumi was the one that said, I can't forget that conversation. She was the one that called her. Miss Georgina said, Mama Ronke, I admire your consistency on LinkedIn. I admire it myself. Me they feel like I'm the LinkedIn boss. I admire her consistency. Miss Folat Chade said, exactly, feeling irritated. That's feeling irritated. I understand it. I get it. I've been there like a million and one times. Miss Georgina said, honestly, there are days I just want to be alone in the room. I understand. I get it.
For
Like I
you
would say,
guys,
been there, done that.
guys,
Ikechukwu, please, can you mute? And then, yes, Miss Ursula also said she too, she just wants to be alone in the group. I said she has all the 5 points Miss Bironke gave. I just felt like she was dragging me. Because that was everything describing me. You know, when she said something about if your child fails, that was me. For my first son in nursery, he had to repeat nursery. As we'll say now, nursery one. Be going to nursery two, he had to repeat nursery one. And I didn't find it funny. It wasn't easy. I felt every shade of failure. I felt incompetent. I questioned my work. I questioned what I do. I questioned myself as a mother. You know, it was a lot. Then I had to tell my husband. And that particular school, it comes with a letter. And it was in second term that I was told. So I to tell him, explaining to him was, I think it's the hardest thing I've done, because he just couldn't understand. Now, it was not that my son wasn't smart enough, but he was not matured enough to move on to that class. Age wise, he was there, but for maturity, he wasn't there. Still, it wasn't easy for me. So when Ms. Obironke was saying that, I understand it because I have been there. Trust me, I have been there. I get it. I understand. Miss Folashade now say thank you. So, question time. Any question, any complaint. We have her for free. Oh. Her parenting sessions are booked for. So throw throw the question that you have her now. Any question, do you have any question to ask Mrs. S for her to explain one or two, or clarify one or two, advise on one or two? Even if I'm going to ask one before anybody does. Now, Ms. Broker said, schedule your time. If you are at home from 5 to 8, and before the children go to bed, um, there's lesson plan. No, exam season is coming. We are preparing exam questions, and some of us are doing what's it called, online classes. After the physical classes, we come for online classes, and then the window is not just enough. Like my kids go to bed at 8 p.m., so I may have just 1 hour. Is 1 hour adequate before the weekend? Within the week, is 1 hour adequate, or do I need to get? Do I need more time? Because I may have to look at their homework. If they have tests the next, I need to revise and all of that. So I just need clarity. Is 1 hour enough? Is there something I can do? Is there another way I can do this?
Honestly, you don't even need an hour every day to bond with children because they've been out of the house all day too and coming back. Bonding with children and creating memories for them can be as simple as doing the task of packing for school, getting ready for school the next day together and be gisting at that time. It's not a grand, you see, when we ask people who are working to spend time with children, you immediately think you need to block out huge chunks on your schedule to sit and play with them. No, it's to talk about that TV program they watched while you're doing other things because they know you are listening, you are hearing them. It is showing them that whatever gist they are giving you at that time, no matter how trivial, you are giving the right responses and not the one I used to do. My children knew me for something. Once they're talking, I'm doing One of them will just say, Mommy is not listening. Just keep quiet. Once she starts doing she's not listening to what you're saying. That is always a check for me. Then I rearrange myself and I tune into what they're saying. So it's those 10 minutes together that you're parking. It's those 20 minutes together that you're getting dinner ready and they're with you. You understand. Let me tell you the places of bonding that we underestimate the most. Bedtime for very young children, kitchen time for older ones, car rides for those who do drop off and pick up in schools. Please, those are the easiest places to build memories with your children. I have young adults in my home who still talk about things that we do in the car on the way to school and back. Don't waste those moments. There will be traffic. Why should I spend energy getting annoyed at traffic when I can spend that energy talking to my children in the car? We play games. We cite billboards. Then in Lagos, we used to cite billboards and they used to guess this company would have paid this much for this billboard because they're a very big company. This one is a small company. That led to one of them asking their father, how many people even know the business you do? You don't have a billboard. How many people do you make money in this your business at all? That anybody know what you do. Those are the memories. Those are the things. It's not just blocking time to sit with them and do formal or structured things. Those windows in the kitchen while you're eating, while they're packing their school bags for school the next day, in the car dropping them to work, in the car on Sunday morning going for worship, coming back, all the conversations we always have going for worship and coming back on Sundays. My children can never forget it. Their father becomes captain of the car. Everybody's fastened up. This and this person is the air hostess serving us today. They never forget it. Those are the times. Because if we're waiting for when we will have those chunks of time to block, in this hustle culture that we live in now, where two incomes are not enough to even do anything, we won't be able to make that time. We won't.
Yeah. Thank you so very much. Wow. So you said something about gisting while parking. I don't do that one. They pack up their school lunch themselves.
Yes,
I'm not
if you are
involved. I'm
there,
not involved
if you
in
are
that
there
one.
while they're doing it, you gist about it.
I
If you
am
are
not
not there,
there.
they can
I
tell
am
you,
not.
yes. So other things, other windows in the house, other opportunities. There was
I
something you
get
said.
it.
You said something at the last Parents Lounge event that I really took away. You said with your husband, you each have time that you do one-on-one with each of your
Yeah.
children. That is fantastic. By the time they come back to start telling you about that thing, you would have forgotten that you did it. By the time they start telling you what seeds it sowed in them,
Yeah.
you'll probably have forgotten you did them. Those are the things they never forget.
All right. Thank you. But then talking about the car rides, I understand because I we play games there too. But you just told me one game I've stolen from you. I'm going to do it with mine. And so thank you so much for that clarity. Now
You're
let me go to the
welcome.
to
Yes.
the comment section. Ms. Oluwaseun said, honestly, the job is highly tasking.
Yes.
The Educators Hub says, I'm learning. I really love building that mental wall, but I'll add a gate to mine. So she's adding a gate to, to building the mental wall. All right,
Yeah.
then Miss Oluwaseun said, yes, ma. That was my strategy. We just on our way to school or coming
Mm.
back. Miss Agnes says today's session was highly relatable. Miss Falasha, they say, thank God I did not miss this session. And oh, I have two messages. Why it's not coming? It's not coming. Okay.
Yes. Mm.
Um, Educators have said truly true. We don't really need
Mm.
to overthink blocking time for gisting.
Yes.
And Miss Faith says she's taking notes. Now Miss
Mm.
Faith is not a mother yet, but she said she wanted to attend so that she will take notes for
Mm.
when she becomes a mother.
Mm.
All right, so thank you. So any other question? Does anybody have any other question for Miss Ibironke? Any other thing we need to hear? Any Miss Educator, the educator's hub says the gate that
Mm.
I'll lock and keep the key away. I cannot be jumping over walls. I need proper transitioning.
Funny. Yes, so
Okay.
jump over walls.
So yeah,
It
so
is.
we actually do need to build that wall. It might not be easy. Okay, it might not be easy, but
Mm.
you need to, okay, because I had to learn the hard way on how to separate work, kids,
Mm.
teachers,
Mm.
content creation,
Mm.
and children. Because when
Yes.
I started taking this whole my niche seriously and having 1,000,001 teachers in my DMs calling me and all of that, it was
Mm.
I stopped working at one point just because I needed to time for my kids, and then I found myself going back to that place of not having time again. So I
Mm.
had to really sit down to sections. Sometimes when the work is so much, I ask them to sit
Mm.
and work with me.
Yes.
Sometimes when I'm having webinars, I tell my children to sit around so they're listening to me
Yes.
as I'm having my webinars.
Mm.
So that's a way, and I see my daughter heading towards that path. I don't mind it because it's a way that I know that she asks me questions regarding that. So I think I'm also building her career for much later in that aspect. Sometimes we may not have that time, but we must have time for our kids as much as
Yes.
possible. So
Mm.
does anybody have any question before Mrs. Vironke says her last words and says that quote that she said towards the end of
Okay.
her talk? Any
Mm.
question? Okay, so I don't think there's any question. Nobody has written
Okay.
anything by now.
Okay.
So, Miss Bironke, last words for us.
Okay, I said then that we should remember that the same compassion that we extend to those struggling children in some areas of their academics, that we should extend that same grace to ourselves. We're human. You are not failing or falling. You're doing well. You are just carrying too much alone. So where there is help, let's look for help. Where you can shed some of the load, so that the important things are not suffering. If I choose that weekends are family times, I shall try to spend most of that weekend doing family time things, because I'm not available Monday to Friday. Work demands. If there are ways that you can get your children, and if the children are old enough, get them involved in setting up routines for the home, it makes them feel very welcome. When I just started speaking online, virtual presentations and all, I had one of my sons. He's an amazing public speaker, self-taught. He's the one who stays on the call for me to help me count my filler words. And at the end of it, he'll tell me, Mommy, within 20 minutes, you use 3 filler words. You need to reduce it to 1 at the barest minimum. They get involved. You know what I have noticed? When children know that you see them, you hear them, when they leave home and you are growing up, they see you and they hear you. If my children pick up the phone and by my hello, oh, how are you? Are you good? They notice immediately, what's wrong, Mommy? Why do you sound that way? They know, because they've been trained to listen to it. Because when they call and I hear their voice, I can decode what's happening immediately. And you see, when we say children, we want children who will look back at home. There is a saying, a prayer in my language that says, no matter how much you have or how successful you are, there is nothing as sweet as having your children care for you in old age. Those things don't happen by chance. When you say, oh, a child does not have empathy or sympathy towards their parents, after all, the parents sacrifice. The parents sacrifice because it's the parents' duty. The extra that we do for our children is that connection. That's the extra. It's possible to spend so much money on a child without being connected to the child. The extra we need is that connection, and we must make time for that connection so that these ones that we're raising in our homes as our legacies will be the ones to turn around and take care of us. We need that. It all starts with connection. You cannot discipline a child you're not connected to. You can't influence a child you're not connected to. You can't even help a child who is going through a challenging phase if you're not connected to them. So we must make time for those things for our children. So that's what I'd like to say. We have to find a way ourselves of mentally doing a partitioning so that when we're moving from school with our load of learners and we're moving home, we've mentally removed that toga, all that worries that we're carrying before we go into our own homes. Imagine if you're married to a doctor who sees how many ailments, sometimes death, in his course of daily work, and he brings all of that weight home, to the partner. You can't have a healthy home built like that. We must learn to shed that part at the door and then go into the home ready to be moms and dads again. Thank you very much for having me here, and I hope that we've all learned from each other. And thank you so much, Ms. Rahina, for having me here today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Ibironke. Thank you so much. Now, I promised to drop the link for to her group, the Parents Lounge. Somehow I can't find where I kept the link. I've been looking for it on my phone. So, Miss Ibironke, please, if you can help drop the link for those that want to be a part of the Parents Lounge, please. before we close. And then also, I see some of our ladies from the leading ladies of learning here. Thank you for joining, Miss Aisha. Maybe you should drop that link on the leading ladies also, Miss Ibironke, because these conversations are important so that those that want to reach you will be able to reach you. I see it.
Okay. I just sent it to your WhatsApp now.
Okay. So I'm going to copy. Yes, I said that. That was I said I'm seeing. So let me drop the link. Chats. And this is the link.
Okay, thank you. Yes,
I'll just
that's
leave
the
it for
link.
some few minutes before we round up. Yes, it's a link. Thank you so much, Miss Ibironke, once again. I appreciate the time. This event was supposed to happen about 2 months ago, and then something happened personal. I couldn't join, and then her schedule has been everywhere. Right now, that she's supposed, it's hot afternoon where she is. She's supposed to be doing something fun,
Yes.
but
Yes.
she, but she honored my invitation to be here. So thank you so much, Miss Ibironke. I do not take it for
Thank you.
granted. We are all here, and we do not take it for granted much.
Thank you so much, everyone.
All right, everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone, you can come up. You can unmute to say bye. You can say thank you before we end. Thank you, Miss
Thank you
Aisha.
so much for putting
Thank
this
Thank you,
you.
Miss
together. I
Aisha.
really appreciate